Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be another episode of my TBR game, Scrabble Picks My TBR. You know, this game's been going on for a long time, so I feel like most people understand how it works at this point. But just in case you're new here, hi, my name is Jackie, and this is a TBR game I play each month where I spell 5 words in a game of Scrabble, and those 5 words are my reading prompts for the month. If you want more information on the rules, I will link that video in the card up above. But let's just get to it. So last month, I successfully completed my TBR, which means I reached my goal of 150 points. I did DNF one of the books, but I count that in my game because I don't want to force myself to read books that I'm genuinely not enjoying. Really, in my mind, what matters is that I made the attempt to read the book. So this month we're going to start fresh with a new board and all the special tiles are back in play. I'm not really in the mood for anything in particular, so we're just gonna see how the prompts go. Or technically, I already know how the prompts went because I filmed those first. But you don't, so let's just go back to past Jackie to see what happened. All right, everybody, we are starting over with a clean board, so that means I need to pick 7 new tiles to start. Oh. Damn it. I was just trying to straighten this, sorry. M. O, again. R. D. That's 5. N. And A. That's about centered, I guess. Random. So this is a prompt that I've had on my idea list for quite some time, but I've never been able to spell it. So for this prompt, I'm going to use the random. Okay, so when you go on Goodreads and you look at your TBR shelf, you can choose how you want to sort the shelf. And one of the options is to sort it randomly. So I want to do that, and whatever just randomly pops up at the top of the TBR list, that's what I'm going to read. I might have to redo it if the first one that comes up is something that is not available at the library or I don't own. But I've wanted to do this for quite some time, and who knows what the book will be. So that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. So the first prompt was random. Just randomly generate a book on Goodreads and read that. This is a prompt that I've wanted to do for quite some time, and finally the stars aligned and I was able to get this on a TBR. So I randomly generated a book from my TBR shelf, and what I got was The Plot by Jean Hanff Korelitz. This has been on my TBR for some time. Back when it first came out, my dad sent me a newspaper clipping of a review of this book in the Wall Street Journal, and I thought it sounded interesting. It was a pretty favorable review, so that's when I added it to my TBR. About time that I read this, because that was a while ago. This is a mystery thriller in which I believe the main character is a college professor. One of his students pitches him what he says is his great idea for a novel, but said student then ends up dying. Our main character decides, well, if my student isn't around to write this book, why don't I steal it and pass it off as my own idea? But his success is short-lived because somebody knows that he is a thief. And I believe, based on the Goodreads plot description, it sounds like perhaps the student got his idea from, let's just say, real life inspiration, and that may have been what resulted in his death. That's the implication that I'm getting from the plot description, but not entirely sure. I also believe that the writing style in this book leans slightly more literary, which is not really my vibe, so I don't know if I'm gonna love this or not, but it's been on my TBR for a long time. The description sounds intriguing, and, you know, I just really want to give it an attempt since it's been on my TBR so long. So that is what Goodreads randomly picked for me, and that's going to be the first book on this TBR. Why? A. N. L. R. And A. Okay. Manor? So I feel like I should be able to find something on my TBR that is set at a manor or, you know, some kind of estate, like a good, you know, historical fiction, like something gothic, or, you know, a country house mystery. Something with that sort of setting. That's what I'm going for with this. So we have the double word, which means that this is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2 is 14. The next prompt was manor. Now, when I spelled this, I was thinking I was probably going to read some sort of like English historical fiction, you know, country house vibes. But I ended up going in an entirely different direction because I was on Google looking for recommendations of books set at a manor house, that sort of thing. And one of the books that was recommended was Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And this has also been on my TBR for a long time since this book first came out. I don't remember what year this was released, but Silvia Moreno Garcia has written like 3 or 4 books since then, so it's been a while. This is set in the 1950s, and our main character, Nomi, receives a message from her cousin. Her cousin has recently married a wealthy man, and the cousin sends Nomi a message saying, "Help me, he's trying to kill me." So Nomi ends up going to High Place, which is the husband's estate in Mexico, to figure out what is really going on. I think it's a little bit mystery, a little bit gothic, a little bit paranormal, a little bit horror. I have had this book on my TBR for quite some time, and I delayed reading it because somebody suggested it for my office book club. So obviously I was waiting for it to be chosen for book club, and I figured I would read it then. But it never got selected and the book club kind of disbanded. So I delayed reading this for a year or two for no reason in the end. And that's why it's been on my TBR for so long. And I've just totally, you know, missed the hype on this one. Everybody's read it but me. Except this month, I'm going to try to rectify that and read this book. It's been a long time coming, so when I saw this recommended as a good book set at a manor house, estate, etc., I was like, this is my chance, all right? This is my chance to finally read Mexican Gothic. I G N and O. Godly? So I think maybe I'll do, a mythology book, something with gods in it. So that is 2 double letters. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I feel like the theme of today's TBR so far is books Jackie should have read already, but hasn't, because the next prompt is godly. And what I'm choosing for this prompt is The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. This book was recommended to me by Tori from Good Strong Words at least 2 years ago, probably, and I haven't read it yet, even though I think it sounds really good and I've wanted to read it. It just hasn't made its way onto a TBR yet until today. So this is a mythology retelling. It is inspired by Norse mythology, and it is following the story of Angrboda, who is the mate of Loki. Loki, famously the Norse trickster god, and Angrboda was the mother of Hel, the goddess of the dead, Fenrir, the wolf, and I think maybe there was another that I'm forgetting. So this is following her story about her relationship with Loki, and it's one of those, feminist myth retellings that have been so popular, but inspired by Norse mythology instead of Greek. So I think it sounds really interesting. I know a little bit about Norse mythology, not a lot, but I really enjoy mythology retellings, and I've been meaning to read this one for ages, so it's finally happening, you guys. Look at me reading all of these backlist TBR titles. Or I guess I shouldn't get ahead of myself, I haven't read them yet. I'm just putting them on the TBR. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna read them. But I'm gonna try. Fingers crossed. T A Z L and S. Okay, so this is exciting. I could spell zany, and then I would get a triple letter score on the Z. Wow, this is amazing. This is gonna be so many points. So this is 30 just for the Z, plus 1, so then 31, 32, that's 36. Wow, that's great. Honestly, I'm happy with that, because usually the first round, I don't get a lot of points since we're just starting out, but that really worked out. For once, I'm actually happy to have the Z. Now, the definition of zany is amusingly unconventional, and who is more amusingly unconventional than Veronica Speedwell? So I'm going to be reading A Grave Robbery by Deanna Raybourn, which is part of the Veronica Speedwell series, and once I read this, I will be all caught up on the series. until the next book comes out. But temporarily, I will be all caught up on the series. The Veronica Speedwell series is set in Victorian London following Lady Adventuress Veronica Speedwell as she solves crimes with her natural historian Beau Stoker. This was the first historical mystery series that I fell in love with and kind of changed my life, to be honest, because now I love historical mysteries so much that I've decided that's the genre that I want to write. So really, these did make a big impact on my life, and there were a couple books in the series that I didn't love, to be honest, but I'm a little more optimistic after the previous installment that I read. A Grave Robbery is Veronica and Stoker's latest outing. In this book, their employer, the nobleman and collector, Lord Rosemoran, he asks Stoker to work on this wax figure of a woman. However, when they start working on it, they discover that this is not just a wax figure. This is a corpse that has been preserved in wax. And so Veronica and Stoker decide that they're going to figure out who this woman is and who it is that killed her. I do enjoy these books. I think they are a lot of fun, and I absolutely love Stoker. Name a more perfect man, you cannot. So I am excited to read book 9 and be all caught up while we wait for Veronica Speedwell book 10. I E and E again. I'm gonna do list and do something from a reading list of some sort. So the good thing about this is I get manners too. So this is on the double letters. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, just 5. But then I can add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So not that bad. Lastly, list. A book from a reading list of some sort. Now, if you have watched a lot of my videos and you know me, you probably know that I am on a mission to read every single mystery that Agatha Christie, the Queen of Crime, ever wrote. And I do have the official Agatha Christie reading list printed out in my desk somewhere. So I figured I would read one of the books from the Agatha Christie reading list to work towards my goal. Now, I'm not sure if I'm in the mood to film a Trying to Solve Agatha Christie video this month. I'm thinking I might do one in October, and honestly, maybe do another one of the solve-alongs. I did one recently for 5 Little Pigs. We'll link the first video in that series in the card. So I'm thinking I might film another solve-along in October. All of that to say, I was thinking, okay, what's an Agatha Christie book that I could read this month that would help me with my goal, but wouldn't really work for a Trying to Solve Agatha Christie video? So what I decided on was The Mysterious Mr. Quinn, a Harley Quinn collection. Honestly, I picked this because I think it works for the prompt. If Agatha Christie hadn't written this, I don't think I would read it because it sounds a little odd to me, and I trust Agatha, so maybe it'll be good. But if it wasn't part of this challenge I set for myself, I probably wouldn't read it. Harley Quinn is kind of an interesting character. He appeared in a few Agatha Christie stories. He's inspired by the Harlequin archetype from, I think, traditional Italian theater. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. And he kind of has, like, magical powers. Like, my understanding is that he just kind of magically appears. He's not really a realistic figure. He just pops in and he solves crimes with the help of his normal friend, Mr. Satterthwaite, who is just like very baffled by Harley Quinn and his weirdness. So it sounds a little odd to me. And I don't really like odd books personally. So if it had been written by someone other than Agatha Christie, no way I would have read this. But I need to read it for my challenge, and I need to get off the Agatha Christie reading list. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be really good. You know, I love Agatha Christie. Maybe I shouldn't doubt her. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All right, everyone. That is it for my September TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section, what are you planning to read in the month of September? Have you read any of the books that I have on this month's TBR? You probably have, because some of them have been on my TBR for like 3 years. But let me know in the comment section. And if you're still here, you want to show your support, but you don't know what to comment, why don't you comment the clown emoji? Because it makes me think of Harlequin, like the little Harlequin guy. So comment a clown emoji if you're still here watching. Please do give this video a big thumbs up. It really does help me and my channel so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and you can find my social media links in the description if you want to connect with me on those other platforms. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a remarkable rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.